I'm Tom Herzog, Chief Operating Officer here at Netsmart, and really excited about the conversation we have today. Every now and then we have the opportunity just to talk with our clients about what's happening and what's going on. And today I have Liz with me. I'm going to let her introduce herself and talk a little bit about her organization. And then we're going to jump into innovation at work, things that are making a difference right here, right now. Liz, you mind telling us a little bit about yourself and your organization?
Yeah. I'm Liz Worth. I'm the Deputy Director at Johnson County Mental Health Center in Johnson County, Kansas. We are a CCBHC and Community Mental Health Center who have been working with Netsmart for a long time, doing the good work and trying to document the good work, which is where the technology and innovation piece comes in for us. We are also equally excited to have the conversation today because we've been doing some really fun stuff lately and are happy to share.
You know, I've had the opportunity, I've been at Netsmart for 14 years now, and I've had the opportunity to work with you that entire time, both in Netsmart and in community, and you all just do amazing work, difference makers in our community. And I was excited when you jumped in to take on this project. And today we're talking about I'm going to use the buzzword that everyone's using now. No, not Travis and Taylor, but AI. And what's happening with AI is pretty amazing. It's moving faster than anything we've ever seen. And you all jumped in and said, we want to be able to use some of the innovation and things you're doing within our organization. I guess my first question for you is, what were you looking to solve when you wanted to implement bells into your organization?
That's a good question and probably a layered answer. So we all know that clinicians did not go to school to write progress notes. So that's the first piece. Like the over the last decade, the way that people document has changed so much, and what's required of documentation has also changed so much. And so with our funders and regulations wanting more and more in the progress note, it's been difficult for clinicians to keep up with working with the client and documenting everything that they need to document. So that was the I guess the biggest problem that we wanted to solve, is making life easier for our clinicians.
Right.
What we liked about this was that we could make our life easier for our clinicians in the office and our staff in the community.
Right.
That's a game changer for us. The majority of our staff work in the community, and they needed an easier way to be able to do this kind of documentation on the spot. So that was the biggest problem. The other part of it is just making our notes richer. So we felt like this would be an opportunity to help enhance that by what Bells has to offer in terms of like the insights and feedback that we can get from our progress notes and or from our sessions around the progress notes. So those were probably two. And then the third would be staff satisfaction. People don't want to spend their day doing progress notes. They want to meet with their clients, they want to do the work, and they want to go home. And this was certainly a way to help them sort of be more efficient.
Well, I like how you said that, because, I mean, that's been the challenge. Progress notes are necessary for a variety of reasons. Hey, we're doing some things here. They're good for documentation purposes. We also know it's critical in helping that person, not just in that moment, but as contextually as we look back. But it is time consuming. And then with some of the requirements that are out there, we know documentation isn't going away. It's just being asked to do more. And then people walk out of school or in their careers and they're like, I really want to help people, but I feel like I'm tethered to this PC typing all the time. And I'm going to hit that last one first, which is the satisfaction piece. Because you and I were talking beforehand, if we're candid, we spent the last many decades putting data in the system. We've all been waiting. When's the data going to work for us? It's now working for us. I guess my next question for you is, what has the reactions been as we put Bells in, our AI tool that is, it's an assistant. It's an avatar. We use Bells as an avatar because it's not artificial intelligence, it's augmented intelligence. How can we have something complement us in that workflow process? What has the reaction been?
Well, we're a week into full implementation, and I have been blown away at the reaction that we've gotten so far from staff. I had a clinician reach out to me unsolicited to say, like, for the first time in my life, doing progress notes doesn't suck. And she had her day wrapped or her week wrapped up by Thursday, all of her notes done. And she's like, I can go home now and not have to worry about
That's
anything.
awesome.
She also told me about just the content of the note and how she felt like that was super helpful. Our mobile crisis response team and our mobile crisis outreach team, I was sort of curious about how this would work for them.
Yeah.
You know, in a crisis, are you really going to be able to do this? And the feedback that I've gotten around that was that they love the scribble feature, and what it's helped them with is capture all the things that need to be captured in a crisis that they weren't because they were too busy dealing with the crisis. And that really it has helped them make their notes more concise and even pare them down a little bit, because of course in a crisis you want to include everything, and they're able to do that better with this software. So,
well, and I think, you know, you make a great point there, is that's our offline capability of being able to, we're always looking for a pen, or I know I want to record this now. And we've all been there, is you go back and you try to recall that and you're like, man, I forgot that piece.
Yes.
And what that tool, that offline application gives you the ability from, is to record it and have peace of mind so that you can focus on the other thing and not always have this, oh, I've got to get back to that piece of it. So, and I know when we first talked about that, that wasn't even something we were necessarily leading with.
Not at all.
And now you're like, okay, this is even better than I anticipated.
Yeah.
Has you think about another organization out there? They're considering, they're trying to figure out, hey, I'm hearing all this stuff around AI. I've heard about bells. What would you say to them? How would you encourage them, you know, around taking that leap or jumping in and implementing this solution?
Well, I'll go back to a conference that I was at a couple of years ago now, where the presenter said, if you don't jump on the AI bandwagon, you're going to get left behind, and you're not going to be the provider of choice anymore, because someone else is going to, and they're going to shine.
Right.
So that really hit me in terms of like what the future of AI is in our field. But for another organization looking to do this, you know, I sort of feel like there's the people that want to be the early adopters. There's the people that are kind of in the middle, and then the wait and see. If you're too wait and see, you're going to get left behind.
Absolutely.
And you're not able to give. Right now, I feel like this is a gift we were able to give our staff. And so that to me is really the most important thing of this is a gift we were able to give you. Now go play with it. So I think there's going to be a certain amount, because it's technology and it's new. There's going to be change. There's going to be enhancements. There's going to be all kinds of probably bumps along the way, but just jump in. Yeah. It's time.
So, you know, when you talk about the staff, you're very passionate about, I love your heart and your passion in wanting to give them tools that are complementary, not more documentation, not what I call the technology text can be at times. And you think about retention or attraction. Is this a tool that's going to impact that part of?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of that before until this week. And I really, like I said, the feedback that I've gotten has been so strong on how much relief it's giving those clinicians to do their work. So absolutely. I think that if we can show that documentation isn't your whole life and your whole job, and that there's all this other fun stuff that you can do. Absolutely.
Well, and we're all tasked with managing return on investment and value. As you think about that, how are you going to be telling other people in the organization, this is making a difference? This is our return on investment. Have you thought about that?
A little bit. That's not my wheelhouse always, because I just want to do the fun stuff.
Right.
But there's others in the organization that are thinking of that. But, you know, definitely the time that it takes to do progress notes. The great thing about this is it tracks all of that. We have had, since we're candidly speaking, some staff be like, are you just doing this to watch how long it takes to do my progress notes? And we're like, we don't have time to bother you. We are not doing that, but we want to show you where you can improve and the time that it's cutting down in the end. So that's something that we'll definitely be looking at, as well as, you know, just the claims.
Right.
Like, I think that we'll capture more accurately some of the services we were providing that we weren't necessarily doing before. And so I think that will, of course, show a big return on investment.
So time and yielding back, because here's what I'm hearing what your return on investment is. The amount of time you're giving back to people, freeing them up to do other important things, because it's not like we all have enough time in a given day. So we're not going to squeeze any more hours in a 24-hour day. Now you're finding a way to give back time. The accuracy piece is huge because that's another time saving. It's also satisfaction. That one note that you shared where I feel like my progress notes are more complete and contextually relevant in that moment, I think is huge. In the accuracy. The accuracy means when billing goes out that there's less audit, there's less correction, that things are more streamlined. So it's going to be, we're going to have to come back and do this conversation again because it will be interesting to continue to measure that. And I'll just give you some insight as we talk with other clients. That's what they're experiencing. And it has been a major differentiation in their organization. It hasn't just been, great, another implementation. I love how you hit on the fear part. You're just doing this to watch me. And I think that's one of the things with anything. People are going to be apprehensive about what is the real goal behind this. And I love your transparency and honesty. I don't have enough time to watch you. We're just trying to figure out how to make this work even better for you. Because at the end of the day, we may have a lot of technology, we may have systems, but what helps people is people. And if we can create more human connection using technology to give them back time, everything changes.
I had some interesting feedback from a clinician actually yesterday about she's sort of newer in her role. And she was somewhat hesitant about some of the feedback that she was going to get.
Yeah.
You know, she's like, I have a little imposter syndrome. And, but she was so impressed by it afterwards of like, it was a confidence booster for her. You know, she's like, it was really nice to know that I am doing a good job when she thought, you know, of course, that it was going to be the opposite.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting. So I also hadn't thought of that aspect of this could really help people, new clinicians, grow in their confidence level. And it's a teaching tool.
I never thought about that. So it's almost a mentoring thing. And so many times, sometimes now you got my mind spinning, is instead of sometimes we're apprehensive about asking a question, should I know that? Or that person doesn't have enough time. I mean, I'm sure you hear this all the time. Hey, Liz, I know you're really busy. I know you don't have time for this. And so I always when I hear that, I'm like, what questions am I missing? Because people don't think there's enough time. You're now giving a great insight of, hey, this is actually helping be that augmented person for them and giving them that confidence in being able to do that. Great insight.
That a supervisor would never have seen because they're not in the session with them. And so it was really interesting and powerful when she shared that.
I love it. Very insightful. Now my mind's going to be spinning on that. Last question on this topic, and then we're going to do a little rapid fire session. What's your next steps? So where are you going? Why, you're a dreamer. Your reputation speaks for itself. You love to disrupt for the greater good. Yep. You don't want to ever be satisfied with it. That's just the way it is. I know you've got some dreams. Do you mind sharing those with us?
Not one bit. So we went full on with bells and scribe for all of our staff at once, with the exception of one division, which is our medical division. So that's the next step.
Cool.
Getting them scribe using their MedNote. So that's kind of an easy one. The next is quality coach. We are really excited about quality coach. That's going to take our quality and integrity process and just enhance it as high as it can be enhanced. To think about 100% of our notes being able to be reviewed and get feedback on that is amazing. So that's our next step. Where we go from there, we have what we've done, which I'm sure drives you all bonkers, is we've customized a few things that now
of course you have. Of course you have.
And now we regretted it for a while, but now we're really regretting it because we want to be able to use this on, for instance, our intake. Right. And so the next step another step will be that we start working on our intake so that we can use this because it will be a game changer for that team as well. So.
Well, yeah, we all know the amount of time intake takes. And if we can bring some of this technology, which we are, it's going to be a major game change. But what you've done now is you've planted seeds that are going to create whispers in the organization.
It already has started.
And people are like, I want to be next. So it will go from, hey, put me at the last of the line to can I be next? And that's really what the conversation has been about today. Is you and I were discussing beforehand. We spent the last many decades digitizing and capturing data, and we always knew there had to be more, and we needed technology to catch up. And that's what these tools like Bell's Augmented Intelligence is doing. It's coming alongside our caregivers, our clinicians, who are absolutely looking for more time, but even bigger than that, more human connection. And we're finding this marriage between technology and being human coming together. And what's odd is people have been concerned, oh, well, this is going to make us less human. I think it's going to make us more human.
Yeah, I agree. Because we can spend the time in the intervention and talking to one another and let this do the work for us.
You nailed it, 100%. Well, I'm going to go through a couple rapid fire questions for you. These weren't planned or prepared, so we're going to have some fun with this. So if you could,
you're going to have some fun.
I'm going to. Well, fair point. Fair point. If you could describe Bell's in one word with what you've experienced so far, what would that word be and why?
Easy. Because it is literally, that's the feedback I keep hearing. It's just easy. Like using it is easy. Transferring information back and forth to Avatar has been easy.
When's the last time you've had that said about an implementation?
Never.
Okay. Me neither. So I love it. What's the biggest aha moment you or your clinicians have had since turning Bell's on?
I think it's what you just spoke to, was that the piece of thinking that AI is going to take over our jobs or our work, and realizing it's not. It's this tool that's helping make our jobs more fun, to get back to doing the work that we all came into this field to do. So,
I think we're myth busting, if you will.
Yes.
And maybe we should actually, now you got me on another idea. Maybe we need to do some myth busting, if you will. So on that topic, so before Bell's, what would a typical day look like? And now after Bell's, what does a typical day look like?
For our community staff, what a typical day used to look like is sitting in their car, trying to get their laptop up and running, going through all the logins, doing that. And not really being successful getting their notes done in the community.
Right.
What it looks like now is being able to use this in the community, make it easy, come back to the office, transfer everything over, and be done. So I think it will save our community-based staff a ton of time.
Okay, I'm hesitant to ask this next one, and now I'm regretting having written it down. If Bell's disappeared tomorrow, it was gone, what would you miss the most?
My job.
I know. I could sit there thinking, I could say, Tom, you're not asking that, and there's no way.
No, I don't know what I would do, because this has been so fun to do, and then to not have it, I don't know.
I love it. It's not disappearing tomorrow. So, and I think it just underscores this isn't something Netsmart did. It isn't something that we had a client do. This is something we've done together. This is what the collaboration has been all about. Next question. How does Bell's free up clinicians to spend more time on what matters most? If you were to put that in just a statement, someone's listening and say, yeah, but Liz, it sounds really cool. It's all techie. But how would you describe that in a statement to someone?
That's a tough question. But I think what my answer would be is that I would say that the session could be genuine with your client.
Right.
And you don't have to worry about missing out on those things that you're like, oh, I missed this work. Or like in a crisis or whatever, missing a piece. It takes that pressure off of you to have to remember things afterwards. And let's face it, we all have a ton to remember, and we're getting worse as the time goes on, right?
Yes.
So that pressure is gone, and it's truly just about the interaction with your client.
Well, last question, and this is on the technical side, on the implementation side, the fun stuff of always bringing a system up is, what surprised you most about the implementation?
The positive feedback.
Yeah.
I was not sure how it would go. Like I said earlier, you have your early adopters with staff, like people, and still, this is not, there's still staff that are hesitant and clients who are like, what is this exactly? Right. So, but overwhelmingly, the feedback has been positive. And so that was a big surprise to me.
Well, Liz, I want to thank you for the time. And I just want to say, we can't do what we do without the partnership and collaboration. It's not always easy. We have high moments, we have low moments, we have hard moments, but we've learned this. When we come together, when we work together, anything and everything is possible. And as you said, sometimes we're surprised. I mean, I know you have high goals, you have high standards, and yet we all walked away from this being, this even exceeded those already high expectations. So thank you. I look forward to the next conversation. And I think when we get together, we may have to do a little more myth busting that's out there, because you got my mind spinning on that, and we'll have some fun with it.
Yeah.
Nice work. Thank you.